3,000 meters below the surface, where light has been dead for millennia, a sperm whale is currently hunting. The pressure at that level beneath the surface would crush a human body instantly at 300 times the force we experience at sea level. The temperature down there hovers just above freezing. There is no sun, no photosynthesis, no plants, just darkness so absolute that the concept of vision becomes meaningless. And yet the whale sees. It achieves this by releasing a click, a sound so powerful it could rupture human lungs at close range. The click, measuring 230 decibels and among the loudest biological sounds on Earth, travels through the water at 1,500 meters per second, bouncing off the contours of the abyss, returning echoes that paint a three-dimensional map inside the whale's mind. It detects movement, a shape, something large, writhing in the current. And right then, the whale accelerates. Despite weighing 50 tons, it moves through the water with startling precision, with its massive body engineered for this exact moment. The prey could try to flee, jet-propelling backward into deeper darkness. But the whale's sonar is relentless. Each click recalibrates position, and each echo refines trajectory. This is not the first time. This is ritual, this is survival, and this is what sperm whales have done for millions of years in a realm where almost nothing else can exist. The whale's jaw, lined with conical teeth the size of wine bottles, closes around its prey, and the hunt is over in seconds. This is the sperm whale, the largest toothed predator on Earth, an animal with the biggest brain in the history of life, a creature that shouldn't be able to survive the physics of its own existence and yet dominates the deep ocean like nothing else ever has. This is an animal we nearly erased from the planet, and we are only now beginning to understand what we almost lost. Let's take a further look. Sperm whales spend more than 70% of their lives in the deep ocean, far beyond human observation. We know they dive, we know they hunt, and we know they head to the surface to breathe. But what happens in those depths? What they see, how they navigate, how they communicate in total darkness? That remains largely unknown. We know, for example, that they sleep vertically, entire pods drifting in synchronized clusters, heads pointed toward the surface, motionless for 10 to 15 minutes at a time. We know that because scientists only discovered this behavior in 2008, when a research vessel accidentally drifted into a pod and found them hanging in the water like underwater sentinels, completely unresponsive. We know they migrate thousands of kilometers, but we don't fully understand why or how they navigate across featureless ocean basins with such precision. We know they hunt in coordinated groups, but we don't know if they plan, if they strategize, or if their hunting is instinctive. All these go to show how staggering it is that we know so little of an animal we have studied for centuries. Nonetheless, recently we have actually begun to listen, and what we are hearing suggests something far more complex than we have ever imagined. The sperm whale's brain weighs 7.8 kilograms, or 17 pounds, making it the largest brain of any animal, living or extinct. By comparison, a human brain weighs roughly 1.4 kilograms and an elephant's brain weighs 5 kilograms. However, the sperm whale's brain is not just large, it is rather structurally complex, with highly developed regions associated with memory, social cognition, and auditory processing. And they use that brain to communicate. We've mentioned the clicks the animal uses to hunt, but unlike the sonar clicks used for hunting, sperm whales also produce short bursts of clicks called codas, which are social in nature. They are not random sounds, they are instead rhythmic patterns that vary depending on context, group, and even geographic region. They are also structured, learned, and culturally transmitted. What we've learned about them is that apparently different whale families have different dialects, so a sperm whale born in the Caribbean will produce codas distinct from one born in the Pacific. These differences are not genetic, they are rather taught, passed from mother to calf, and maintained across generations. In 2020, a team of scientists launched Project CETI, the Cetacean Translation Initiative, and the most ambitious interspecies communication effort in history. Led by distinguished Professor David Gruber and marine biologist Shane Jarrow, Project SETI brought together over 50 scientists from MIT, Harvard, and institutions across the globe. Their goal: decode sperm whale communication using machine learning. The team built a 20-kilometer underwater listening station off the coast of Dominica, deploying advanced biologgers that attach to whales using suction cups inspired by clingfish anatomy. These devices record not just sound, but behavior, depth, temperature, and GPS data, capturing communication in context. In 2024, the team finally published a breakthrough, analyzing over 9,000 codas from Eastern Caribbean sperm whales. Researchers at MIT's Computer Science and Artificial Intelligence Laboratory revealed what they call a sperm whale phonetic alphabet. Their research showed that the codas were not simple repetitions, they were rather combinatorial, context-sensitive and structured like language. Dr. Pratyusha Sharma, the study's lead author, explained, "Our findings indicate the presence of structured information content and challenge the prevailing belief that complex communication is unique to humans." Basically, the team found that sperm whales adjust coda patterns based on who they are talking to, what they are doing, and where they are. The same way humans change tone, pitch, and word choice depending on context. We do not yet know what they are saying, but we know they are saying something, and Project SETI is working to translate it. If they succeed, it will be the first time in human history that we have decoded the language of another species. But there is a cruel irony there, because for most of human history, we did not try to understand sperm whales. We just killed them. Sperm whales were once seen as monsters. In mythology, they were Leviathan, biblical sea demons, the Kraken, ship-destroying titans. Herman Melville immortalized them in Moby Dick, a tale of obsession and revenge where the whale is both prey and nemesis. But the real horror was not what sperm whales did to us, it was what we did to them. Sperm whaling began in earnest in 1712, when Captain Christopher Hussey, blown off course while hunting right whales, encountered a pod of sperm whales and killed one. What he found inside its head changed history: spermaceti, a waxy, liquid substance stored in a massive organ inside the whale's skull. When refined, it produced the finest oil ever discovered, clear, odorless, and exceptionally stable. Spermaceti oil became the fuel of the Industrial Revolution. It lit the lamps of cities across Europe and America. It lubricated the machines of textile mills. It was used in cosmetics, candles, soap, rust-proofing, and pharmaceuticals. Every major city, every factory, every lighthouse burned sperm whale oil, and thus the hunt intensified. By the 19th century, American whaling ships had killed between 184,000 and 236,000 sperm whales. Entire fleets scoured the oceans for these creatures. Nantucket alone may have killed 40,000 sperm whales, but that was nothing compared to the 20th century. With the advent of diesel-powered ships, exploding harpoons, and sonar tracking, whaling became industrialized, and what had taken 200 years in the 1700s and 1800s was matched in just 60 years. Between 1900 and 1999, whalers killed at least 761,523 sperm whales. The majority, over 400,000, were killed between 1946 and 1980. So at the peak in the 1960s, we were killing tens of thousands of sperm whales every year. The global sperm whale population, which had numbered nearly 2 million in 1710, was reduced to roughly 33% of its original size because of this act. In some regions, as a matter of fact, adult males preferentially targeted for their larger size were nearly wiped out, disrupting the social structure of entire populations. Thus, the genetic diversity of sperm whales collapsed, social cohesion fractured, families were shattered. In 1986, the International Whaling Commission finally imposed a moratorium on commercial whaling, stopping the slaughter. But the damage was done. Current estimates place the global sperm whale population at around 800,000 to 850,000 individuals, which is a good figure showing they are recovering. Slowly. But the scars remain, not just in the fact that they are still only half of what they once were, but in their genetics, their social structures, and the gaps in their cultural transmission that we will never be able to measure. Sperm whales occupy a prominent place in the ocean, They do not just live in the ocean, they shape it. When they dive beneath the surface to hunt, they consume deep-sea squid, fish, and other organisms. When they return to the surface to breathe, they defecate, releasing nutrient-rich feces that fertilize the upper layers of the ocean. This is called the whale pump. Sperm whale feces are high in iron and nitrogen, which are scarce nutrients in surface waters. These nutrients help fuel phytoplankton blooms, and as we know, phytoplankton help produce oxygen while also absorbing carbon dioxide, acting as one of the planet's primary carbon sinks. Furthermore, even when sperm whales die, their impact continues. A dead sperm whale sinking to the ocean floor is called a whale fall. The carcass can weigh 50 tons or more, and it becomes an entire ecosystem. Scavengers like sharks, hagfish, and crabs can feast on the flesh. Then come the worms, mollusks, and bacteria that consume the bones. With all that, a single whale fall can sustain ocean life for decades, creating biodiversity hotspots in otherwise barren deep-sea plains. So you see, sperm whales are not just animals, they are ecological architects, oxygen producers, carbon regulators, deep-sea nutrient distributors, and we nearly killed them all, damaging systems in the process that we did not even know existed. In a nutshell, the sperm whale is an evolutionary miracle. It is a mammal that evolved to live in a place where mammals should not survive. It breathes air but hunts where there is no air. It sees with sound in a world where light does not exist. It possesses the largest brain in history and uses it to communicate in ways we are only beginning to understand. It has also survived for millions of years. It survived the extinction of the dinosaurs. It survived ice ages and climate shifts and volcanic eruptions. But it almost did not survive us. Thankfully, with the current level of prowess we have with artificial intelligence and decades of research, we can perhaps make up for our mistakes by finally figuring out what these creatures are, what they know, and what they say to each other in the depths we cannot reach. This will not be easy too, because while sperm whales are recovering, recovery does not equal restoration. The ocean these animals live in now is not the ocean they evolved in. It is warmer, louder, more polluted, and more fragmented. There are also fewer of them around now, which means we will never know what was lost in the silence of the whales we killed. If you want to explore more stories of species we've pushed to the edge and the science working to understand them, subscribe and join us as we uncover what remains in the fragile space between survival and extinction.